We all feel it, don't we? This sense that the climate crisis is this huge, monumental challenge. But today, we're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to ask a really tough question. Why, after literally 40 years of trying, are solutions still falling so short? Let's dive into a powerful new way of looking at this that might just hold the key.
I mean, this is the question, right? It just hangs in the air. We've had decades of conferences, incredible new tech, and so many commitments. And yet, the crisis is actually getting worse. We know what to do. It seems like we want to do it. So what are we missing? What is fundamentally broken?
Well, according to the thinking behind this explainer, the answer boils down to a single powerful word: fragmentation. It's like we've taken this incredibly complex puzzle, smashed it into a million pieces, and now everyone's trying to solve their own little corner without talking to each other. Of course it's not working.
So let's be really clear about what the problem is. It isn't a lack of good ideas. It's not even a lack of money or effort, really. The real problem is that all these efforts are happening in their own little worlds. We're looking at a massive, systemic failure of coordination, where our best intentions are actually getting in each other's way.
And you could see exactly what that fragmentation looks like right here. Everything is stuck in its own silo. You've got governments over here, NGOs over there, and corporations doing their own thing. They all end up competing for the same slice of the pie, the same funding, the same media attention. And what happens? Their goals don't line up, resources get wasted, and we never learn from each other's mistakes or successes.
And here's the thing. This isn't just about the climate. It's way bigger. This fragmentation is stopping us from dealing with what experts call a polycrisis. Think of it as this tangled-up web where ecological disaster, economic trouble, and social unrest all feed into each other. You can't solve one piece without affecting all the others. A piecemeal approach is doomed from the start.
So all this fragmentation leads to this really dangerous outcome, a concept called the intelligent action gap. And this right here is the core reason why, despite knowing so much, we seem totally paralyzed.
So what is it exactly? Well, it's that huge, frustrating gap between what science and all our best thinking tells us we have to do and what we're actually able to do, together as a species. It's like we have the perfect blueprint to build a sustainable world, but we can't get the construction crew to even read it, let alone work together.
And why does this gap even exist? Well, because we're missing the basic wiring for us to succeed together. We don't have a shared way to even understand the problem. We're missing the actual infrastructure for global teamwork. Our leaders, for the most part, just aren't trained for this level of complexity. And maybe most importantly, we don't have reliable systems for building trust.
Okay, so if fragmentation is the disease and this intelligent action gap is the main symptom, then what's the cure? It's not going to be another single policy or some shiny new piece of tech. Nope. What we need is to fundamentally rewire our entire global approach to solving problems.
The solution requires 3 huge shifts, and they all have to happen at the same time. They're all connected. We have to completely rethink how we lead, how we govern, and the very tools, the very infrastructure we use to work together. Let's break them down.
First up, leadership. The old model we're all so used to, top-down, competitive, obsessed with next quarter's results, it's just obsolete. It can't handle this. We have to shift to a new kind of leadership that is collaborative from the ground up, that builds trust, and that has its eyes fixed on the long-term health of the whole planet.
Second, governance. Our systems are so often reactive and adversarial. We're constantly fighting fires instead of preventing them. We need to move towards systems that are adaptive, that let more people participate, and that are built on one simple, non-negotiable idea. We are stewards of this planet.
And third, and this is the real linchpin, the piece that holds it all together: infrastructure. Our current digital tools, our social media, they were designed to get clicks and sell ads, not to create a coherent world. They actually make the silos worse. We have to move to a new kind of digital public infrastructure designed for one single purpose: to help us work together and coordinate effective action on a global scale.
And that brings us to this really compelling idea called the Phoenix platform. Now, try not to think of this as just another app or website. Think bigger. Imagine it as a new operating system for the planet, an OS designed for collaboration.
This is such a brilliant way to think about it. Think about your smartphone. It didn't replace your brain, right? What it did was take all these separate tools, a camera, a map, a phone, a library, and integrate them into one single, easy-to-use interface. And by doing that, it massively amplified what you could do. Phoenix wants to do that for humanity's ability to solve problems.
And this is how it could all fit together. Phoenix is like the connective tissue.
See, at the bottom, you've got the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. That's the what we need to do. Then you have the Inner Development Goals, or IDGs, which are about the inner skills we need to collaborate, the how. And at the top, the Evolutionary Development Goals, or EDGs, which guide our long-term future. Phoenix is the infrastructure that could finally connect all three, making them work together instead of in isolation.
At the very heart of this idea is something called a synergy engine. You can think of it like a super smart matchmaker for doing good in the world. Its job is to look at everything that's happening, spot where two projects could help each other, connect people who should be talking, and make sure the whole is way more powerful than the sum of its parts.
The ultimate vision here is pretty incredible. It's for this kind of infrastructure to work like a planetary nervous system, a system that would allow all of humanity to sense problems as they emerge, to coordinate our response intelligently, and to act together with a speed and unity that is just impossible right now.
So, all of this leads us to the final and most urgent question of all. The ideas are there, the technology is within reach, but the clock is ticking, and it is ticking fast.
You know, if there's one crystal clear lesson we have to take away from the last 4 decades of failure, it is this: just being aware of a problem is not enough. Awareness without the ability to coordinate our actions simply does not get the job done. So the path forward requires a huge shift in our focus. It's not just what we do anymore. It's all about how we do it, together. The great challenge of our time is to finally learn how to consciously collaborate, not just with each other, but in harmony with the planet itself. And so that's where we land. The debate is over. We know we need to collaborate on a planetary scale. The only question left, the one that will define our future, is whether we will have the courage and the wisdom to build the systems that make it possible before it's too late.